Alright, what's up YouTube? So got another video for you today, and this one is going to be like a tutorial kind of thing on how I edit portraits. So I'm in a bunch of Facebook groups just regarding a bunch of different photography stuff, like finding models and like sports photography, film photography, just a lot of stuff. And I was looking through one of the groups and somebody was asking about editing portraits in Photoshop or Lightroom and which people liked better. And like this never really occurred to me because I just thought that everybody would use Lightroom for photos, and then if you're editing like certain things onto photos, you use Photoshop. Not everybody does exactly what I do, obviously. I just wanted to come on here and make this video, and in case any other people are like going through things like this in their mind, I just want to show you guys how I use Lightroom to edit portraits, because it's really easy. It's a really simple layout when you use Lightroom, and I use Lightroom Classic, and I believe just the regular Lightroom is even easier because everything's just laid out so much clearer than in Photoshop. And like, I have nothing against Photoshop. I love Photoshop and I use it for so many other things, but for specifically like editing photos, I use Lightroom and Lightroom only. So I just wanted to show you guys like my process behind that, and specifically for portraits. So I've got 2 photos that I'll edit for you guys and show you like how I go through that, like with like smoothing skin and then brightening eyes and then other stuff just to make like the portraits pop. So we'll get into that today, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And if you like this content, just let me know in the comments, so if you guys want to see any other things like this, so I can make those videos for you guys. All right, let's get to it. All right, what is up guys? So we've got 2 photos that we're gonna edit, these 2, and this is just from my trip with my girlfriend to New York. So I'm just gonna be editing the photos like I said in the intro, and showing you guys my process of how I edit portraits. And hopefully this will help you guys out if you want to use Lightroom, and maybe if you want to get better at using Lightroom as well. So we'll get into it now. So first thing I always like to do is come into here where it says remove chromatic aberration and enable profile corrections. And so what the removing the chromatic aberrations does is making it so that if we zoom in here, sometimes you get like lines on like the edges of things that are like purple and blue and stuff like that, and the removing the chromatic aberrations will take that away. It doesn't really look like I have that in this photo, but we're just going to do it anyways. And then enabling the profile corrections just allows Lightroom to know what camera you're shooting on and the lens that you're shooting on. So if there's any distortion with that, it'll fix it for you. So I always do that too. All right. See, there's my lens right there. Okay, so now I get into editing like the exposure and all that kind of stuff. So we'll go and do that. And I usually don't mess with the temperature and the tint because it looks pretty good, and I like to manage like all the colors with the HSL. So we're just gonna go straight into it. So that looks pretty good right there actually. Alright, looks contrasty enough for me, so I'm not gonna touch the contrast. Bring the highlights down. You can see on her face and in the hair. Looks good to me. Shadows are fine. We got enough brightness in her face and the clothes as well. So now we'll move into the whites and the blacks. So move the whites up. I like doing this one a lot just because this is another way you can provide like a nice contrast. So, you know, it looks cool. And I like having a lot of light like this in the photo. Okay, so usually I don't mess with these too much, but I like to when I'm doing portraits and like making things sharp. So I'm gonna up the clarity just a little bit. I usually do like 5 or 10, because if we go to the extreme, you can see like what it does, and it looks pretty nice. I mean, like I wouldn't obviously go all the way there, but just a little bit looks nice. And then I do the same thing with the dehaze too, and this is another way to provide some other contrast, so I like doing that as well. So I usually do, again, 5 or 10 for that. Okay, so now we will come into the tone curve, and then for this I just go based off of like what looks the best. So okay, now we'll come into the HSL bar. And this is, like I said, where I like to control the colors. So I always like doing like going for that teal and orange vibe. So that's where you see me dropping like the oranges and the yellows down so they look more orangey. I'll move up the green for the trees in the background in her sweatshirt, and then I'll bring the blue down. Okay. Alright, and then we'll come into the saturation. Okay, so just bring this down a little bit. The yellows as well. That's good with me. And I won't touch the blue, but bring the green down a little bit. To it right there. That looks good. Alright. Now we will come into the luminance. Alright, so we'll bring up the orange a little bit. And yellow, we'll leave. Green I'm going to bring down just because I want to create like some separation with the background with the trees. Just make them a little darker. And then it should be good. Maybe bring up the blue a little bit. There we go. Alright, and then next thing I do, I'm not going to touch this for this photo because it looks fine like as is. I like to come in, sharpen it a little bit. So I never really go over 70 for portraits, so we'll keep it there. And then I like to do this, use a masking tool to like hone in on the specific spots where Lightroom will sharpen. So you just hit Option, you hold on to that, and then you just drag to like where it looks good. And that's good enough. And then we'll put a little bit of a vignette on it just to isolate the model. Okay, so now this is like how I soften the skin and like take out blemishes and stuff. So if we hit Q, we can come into the spot healer. And Photoshop has a tool like this too, but with Lightroom, since I'm already like editing all this stuff in here, then I can just easily do it all in the same program, which is nice. So this one, you just click and take out the blemishes that you want to take out, and you can move where it copies so that it's not copying anywhere that you don't want to be copied, and you can like make it go over like a smoother part of the image. And usually it kind of does it for you, but it picks like based off of like stuff that looks similar, so sometimes you just need to adjust it a little bit. And this tool works really nicely. It's basically the same as Photoshop's tool, so you're not really losing anything by doing it in Lightroom. Okay, and when that looks good, we'll move on to the next part. Yeah, that looks fine to me. So now we'll move on to the next part. You can kind of see from all the way back here. It looks a little bit nicer. Okay, so the next part I like to do is brush the face. Oops. So we're gonna hit K and come into the brush tool. Make sure the layer mask is on so you can see what we're doing. And you can just hit O to make sure that's working, and we're gonna come in here and just paint the skin. And then doing this, we're gonna soften it up some more. Not too much so it doesn't look unrealistic, but you'll see in a sec what I will do. go. Come in here and just paint the rest of the forehead. Doesn't need to be too accurate because, again, we're not going to be changing the skin like drastically, because then that would just look really bad. So that's good enough for now. So we're going to get rid of the layer mask, or just hide it. Just unclick it. And then we're going to come down into texture and clarity. We're going to bring the texture down. You don't want to do too much again, because you got to keep it looking nice. And then clarity down as well. And as you see, like when you bring the clarity down a little bit, it will darken the image. So we're going to bring that up, or we're going to bring the exposure up just to compensate for that a little bit. Okay, probably paint some on the lips too. Yeah, okay. And we can check what we did too. So if we come in here, that looks a lot nicer. And it's super easy. Okay. So I'm gonna do one more layer mask on the eyes to brighten the eyes up. So we're gonna do that. All right. So we'll zoom in on the eyes now and make sure we can see the layers. So we got this checked. We're just gonna come in here and paint this right there. You just go around the iris. So we're getting the colored part of the eye, obviously. Okay. So now we'll hide it. And now just come up into exposure. And you can brighten it up a little bit. And then I like to do clarity as well, just to make it like a little sharper. See how it does that? It'll make it a little darker, but the lines in the eye look sharper. And again, Photoshop does have something like this too, where you can do this pretty easily. It's just like I said before, since we're already in Lightroom, this is the way I like to do it, and it's super easy. We can also come in here and change the color if we wanted. But obviously we are not going to do that, so we'll get rid of that. And now get out of there, and boom. That is basically it, guys. So that was just one photo. This has already been going pretty long, so maybe I'll just end it after one photo. But I hope you guys get the concept. It's pretty simple. We can go back through the edits and look at everything that we did. So the layer mask, you can do this and check it, and just, it's nothing drastic again, but it just makes things pop and makes things look better. You can see like in this eye especially, and then all over her skin. You just make it look professional. So we're gonna come out, and then we'll go and look at the whole image. This is where we started, and this is how we finished. And it looks pretty nice. Do it one more time. This is the start and the finish. So that's just a basic tutorial of like what I like to do when I edit portraits. I guess we don't really need to do the second one, just because I don't want you guys to be watching this for 20-something minutes. I think you guys get the gist of everything. It's just like going through exposure, making sure everything's exposed right, doing the color profile however you like. Like I like the orange and teal vibe, so that's what I like to do. But you can do anything with these, and then with even presets that Lightroom gives you, like over here and stuff. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And if you guys want more content like this, just let me know in the comments so I can make some more videos for you guys that you will like. All right, so I will see you on the next one.